Hey you, yeah, wake up. Do you want to learn about the 5 worst jobs to play in 14? Today, I'm gonna tell you all about... Hey, don't go back to sleep, hey! With 20 jobs to choose from in 14, you might find it kinda tough to...
Well, actually, Ko, there's technically only 19 jobs in Final Fantasy XIV, since the Blue Mage is a limited job, so therefore it wouldn't...
Oh, how could you, Ko? I'm dead.
With 19 jobs to choose from in 14, new players may have a tough time deciding what they want to main. Or if you're like me and you have trouble sticking to your main job, well, we have a word for that. Commitment issues, and we should probably look into a therapist for that. Today, I, Kougaon, the legendary, no ultimate clearer, gray parser, a real gameplay expert, I know, will present to you 5 jobs in 14 that you should avoid playing. Why these 5, you may ask? Because I said so, and my word is law. And you don't want to disagree with me. I'll be listing out my reasons for these jobs, so don't worry, I got you covered. But also, I have one for each role, so let me tell you the 5 jobs I don't advise playing. Samurai. Formerly one of the coolest jobs to play, but no longer cool. At the moment, the other melee jobs are really cool. You know, you got monks, they can punch shit. Dragoons have sexy armor. Ninjas full of cool utilities. Also, that mug for increased damage is just mwah, chef's kiss. And Reapers, they also have sexy armor as well. And what do samurais get? To look like the weebiest job ever. Fellas, is it weeb to dress up in traditional Japanese clothing and wield a samurai sword? Yes. Dressing up like a weeb is already part of playing the job, so if you're not already looking the part, give up. Besides the appearance of the job, let's talk about that one big thing that samurais are currently lacking. Kaiten is no longer a skill. Ah yes, back in the olden days, samurais had a move called Kaiten, which increases your potency for your next weapon skill by 50%. And what it is now is the phantom pain of skills. It hurts to press a skill out of memory during my rotation. Right now, go ask any of your friends who main samurai and they will still have the skill on their hotbar. And all these samurai mains believe the skill will come back. My dad will come back from the store sooner than Kaiten will. If you play samurai, you have to set your language and everything else to Japanese for the sake of immersion. And if you're not already playing Japanese, you're already missing out on the experience. Start getting your kanji on. I already sound so dumb trying to pronounce half these skills' names like Meikyo Shitsui and Iai Jutsu. What? You also gotta start playing with Japanese players too. I don't know what you're saying. What are you saying right now? Please stop yelling at me. Because it's a weeb job, you're unable to play this job unless you have at least watched 20 animes, and you can't say Demon Slayer 20 times over. And I know what you're gonna say. Ninja is technically a weeb job because of the same kind of similarities, and you know what? On the subject of weeb jobs, let's talk about Astrologians. Why do I consider Astros to be a weeb job? Well, let's think about it. What other country designed things around card games? Yu-Gi-Oh! Has card games on motorcycles, and it also has card games on trains. Yes, that last one actually did happen once. And now we got card games in rating? Is this Yu-Gi-Oh! Or 14? Why I don't suggest people play Astro is because you gotta do a lot of thinking, and I hate thinking. And I hate doing anything that requires more than breathing. You gotta heal, and you also gotta do buffs with the cards. You know, why not just be a white mage and just heal only? Now I gotta heal up and be responsible for cards? My years of collecting cards is coming back to haunt me. As most players know, healing is the main task of healers, and second is doing damage. But now I have to think about my cards in advance and know which proper card to give for optimal damage? I am going to cry. On the bright side, at least we have light speed to help with cast times. And other cool skills such as Earthly Star almost covers the whole entire arena, so you can pretty much heal your whole party if they're not already in Narnia, but while it's not a bad job to play, it just gives you a lot more work to do, and I don't like working hard. At least the card backgrounds give you a pretty good indication on what role to give it to. Sadly, I wasn't really there to experience the old card system where the card system was really unique. Like, we had cards that increase your damage dealt, decrease your damage taken, and also increasing your target attack speed? But like all card games, this also has RNG with it. This is no exception. You'll be pulling out all the right cards if you have Lady Luck on your side, but I can't even pull any ladies, so you may find yourself struggling to get the right cards for your teammates, or you might not. It depends on how lucky you are. If you want a job that keeps you busy, then by all means go ahead and play Astro. But if you're lazy like me, then go play White Mage. It'll make your life much more simpler. Speaking of easy, play dancer or machinist, but avoid bard. Instead of being a dancer or just using a gun, bards are out here using bows, like, what? While bard does come with a lot of utilities to make up for how boring it is, I hate to break it to you, but you'll never be as cool as Legolas in this game. Bard has a lot of skill procking to it. Your opener as a dancer is kinda guaranteed because of the skills you have, but as a bard, you have to just leave it to fate to decide if your stuff actually procs or not. Did you proc this ability right here? Then go down this path. Oh, you didn't? Well then suffer with less damage on this path. Oh no, your bloodletter didn't proc? Well then settle for a normal heavy shot. No straight shot proc? Cry. You only got one repertoire stack during that whole entire session? Skill issue. Dancer is a pretty relatively easy class to learn. Hard to master, but, you know, pretty easy to learn. And Machinist can be kind of easy if you can stand having an identity crisis of not being sure if you want to be a full-blown DPS job or something that has a bit more support than other jobs. As a Bard, you gotta manage your dots appropriately, which isn't too bad, but the second you forget to reapply your dot, that's a loss on damage. And everyone will notice if you didn't reapply. Managing my dots is like trying to manage dating two different girls in my Japanese dating sims. Alright, forget the bow now, let's talk about something that's a bit more close up. Paladins are boring. All you have is just a simple sword, while the other tank jobs have a big axe, a big sword, or the gunblade sword. All they have is just a sword and shield. Boring. How many times have you seen a cool person armed with both a sword and a shield? It screams lame, and everybody knows that you just gotta use only the sword because you look cool. Sure, your survivability may be reduced down by like 95%, but at least you'll look cool when you die. If you're still gonna play Paladin, I recommend at least you glam that shield so it's invisible so you look kinda cool. You look awkward when you gotta throw that shield, but you know what, it works. Now, at the moment, the job has a stupidly long rotation that you have to continuously keep reapplying, or else the second you mess up, you'll be feeling the pain. Things might actually fall off of your rotation, so your fight or flight actually might miss some skills. Needless to say, you'll be basically practicing a lot so you can get that muscle memory just right. I don't even have muscles. We're gonna get somebody in the comments saying something like, well, it doesn't matter if I miss a skill in my rotation because my damage will still be fine for content. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. But have you ever messed up a skill so badly that it just eats away at you slowly as you're progging? Knowing you could have put the right input in, but instead you fat finger reprisal, now everything is messed up? And everyone saw you making your mistake and now they're laughing at you? Then your girlfriend Stacy breaks up with you to date Evan. Evan! And everyone shares that same feeling where if you mess up your rotation, you just wanna, you know, commit murder. I would go deeper into Paladin stuff, but soon this job will be changed with an upcoming patch, so for now, I'll just say, if you enjoy being an Orshafon RPer, someone who enjoys swords, or having a long rotation that keeps you busy, then play Paladin. But if you want everyone else to love you, then play Dark Knight or Warrior, because they got the big weapons. And you know what they say about big axes and swords, right? Oh, well, I wouldn't know, I'm a Black Mage main, so, Speaking of which, if you enjoy pain, then come on down to try out Black Mage. Once you start casting a spell as a Black Mage, you have to finish those casts or you're not a real Black Mage. As a current enjoyer of pain, we all know how important it is to get those big numbers off. And how do we get those big numbers? We cast the big spells. And what do big spells require? Big hands. And you know what they say about big hands. Big numbers. What did you think I was getting at? Red mages have that utility, and summoners have a rotation that even my 3-year-old nephew can understand. With black mages, you see, we require a degree to play. A degree in stupidity. We love to play the game of how long can I stand in the bad. It's kind of like chicken, only except you play with your life, and if you die, everyone laughs at you. As a black mage, you'll need to stand still as much as possible, which can be a problem if you have cats that jump on your keyboard. Oh yeah, by the way, the fun of Black Mage doesn't start until you're at level 90. Ironically, that is the same amount of years it takes to master Black Mage. Also, there's probably a lore reason as to why we have eye patches as Black Mages, but I'm getting kind of tired of seeing this thing be a thing. I am not seeing the fun in this. Overall, you're gonna have a really hard time trying to master Black Mage as you need to learn to fight ahead of time. There's a number of reasons I can go over, but I made a whole video about this before, so go watch that if you haven't. Are these 5 jobs the worst of the worst in 14? Of course not. These are the opinions of a Grey Parser, Y'shtola Simper, Black Mage. Prove me wrong and play these jobs better than how I could have ever played them. And you know what? I like to be proven wrong. And I like to be yelled at. Yelled at? Is that a kink or something? If you are an enjoyer of these 5 jobs, then go enjoy them. Being kept busy between casts is what some people like to enjoy in 14. I salute everyone out there who can play these 5 jobs because I don't think I could do it. Me, on the other hand, well, I'll go back to playing my easy jobs where I can just press a skill and then in between each cast I can just simply go take a nap.
ついたり消えたりする街の明かりを数えながら